Hello, Forecaster here again, and we are back for episode 62. And today we're going to work on the expansion of the power plant room, or the future power plant. And the very first thing is we're going to have a look at this drone. So this is the wall replacing program in its current state, and I've made a few changes. So down here, when it's done digging, which is when it doesn't go into this side bit here, it's going to get the place block, which currently is stone bricks, from the input-output chest. Then it's going to place those in the current working area, point 1A through point 1B. Then I used to have it so it would go to the input-output and empty its inventory completely. So there were no filters at all. Then it would increase or move the working area by one step, which wasn't really optimal, because it would always go back to the input-output chest between each cycle. Now I have it set so it's excluding the tool and the current place block. So there's also a dispenser upgrade in the drone, which increases its inventory to 2 stacks. So by default, a drone can only carry a single stack. That means a stack of some block or a single tool, one item of something that doesn't stack, obviously, which is 1 stack of that item. But with a dispenser upgrade, it can carry 2 stacks. So now it can carry a tool and a stack of blocks. And that's pretty much all it needs. So now it doesn't really need to dump the tool before... I think I removed that bit earlier, where it would empty out its tool before it got the blocks. And then it had to get rid of the blocks to pick up the tool again, and for some reason I had that bit still in. But now it can keep both the tool and the block. I still have this piece here, because if you change the place block, well, actually, now that I think about it, you can actually change this without picking the drone up and putting it in the programmer, which really doesn't. Which means it's not going to have to dump out anything at all, really. So we can just remove that bit and save some pieces on that. So now the way I'm using this drone right now is I'm using it to work on this area here. And the program works for this as well. So if I get the GPS tool, we can see that point 2 is over here. It should be straight in this slice here, and it's at the top. Then we set it to point 1, which is over here, and this is the positive y direction, of course. And if we set it to point 1A, we can see that this is right here, which is as expected, and then point 1B is over here. So instead of having point 1A or 1B here, it now has the y and z of point 2 instead of just the y, which means that the drone will cut out one of these slices and then move forward to the next. So if I put the drone down, it's going to go get a tool first, of course. It's going to get its mining drill. Then it's going to come back here and it's going to start digging out these blocks here. Then it's going to move on to this slice and so on. And then when it gets to here, it's going to remove these carpenter's blocks as well. And I'm going to have to put them back up because it doesn't, I haven't specified which blocks it's supposed to remove. It's just going to remove everything that isn't stone bricks. But that's fine. It's pretty easy to put these back up because it's quite systematic. Since it's only removing one slice at a time, the ceiling here is still going to be supported, most likely, which means I have time to put these back up after it's pulled them down. Oh, I have some sandstone here. That's interesting. I hope there isn't water nearby. That would be annoying. But yeah, that should be fine. Now I put these pillars where these walls are by the elevator here. And it's going to be, it might be a little awkward, but I would prefer the symmetry rather than having a pillar, say, here, and then having a discrepancy here. So I want them to align. So hopefully that won't cause any awkwardness when I'm building the machinery. So now it increased the working area, moved it over by a slice. So now it's going to work on this bit. And it's going to keep doing that until it gets to this here. Now it's not going to be able to actually be done, because the done check relies on the area being filled with the place block, and the place block is currently set to stone bricks. So it's going to check if the area is filled with stone bricks, and since it's not, it's going to try to keep working, but it's not going to have anything to do because the area has been dug out. So I'm going to have to wrench it when it's done, which might be a drawback because it's not going to. It's just going to sit there and waste air checking the area. If you're not there to to stop it. And the reason it's not placing any blocks, of course, is because it doesn't have any blocks to place. And I could have... I'm not sure what would happen if I removed the variable assignment, the item filter on it. It would set the variable to nothing and then check for any block. I actually have no idea. But this is working pretty nicely. I don't have to do any digging, which is pretty good. Now I've decided how, or I have an idea of how my factory is going to work. So we have this recipe packager thing. Yeah, that's what it was called. So this will craft a single thing. Now you can do this in a couple of ways. Where did I put the other one? I know I made two. I need something to demonstrate with. It's not... There you are. So if I put this down here, there are a few ways you can use these, and one of the ways is the way I've done it here. I've put items, ghost items, into the spots where the items would go in the in the recipe. And this is what you have to do if you want to use multiple components in a single packager like this. But you can use if you only have a single component, like say for example that I want to make chests. A chests recipe only has wood in it. So what I can do is I can left click these. I forgot to turn off cheat mode again from single player testing. You will see that these slots have lit up. You can right click them to turn them off again. And when a slot is empty but enabled, it will try to put whatever it can in that slot when it tries to package or make a package. Now currently it only has 2 oak wood planks available, and it would need 8 of them. It also doesn't have any paper. Let's grab some. So if I put a piece of paper in here, nothing is... Oh. Well, apparently it can take items from adjacent inventories. Didn't actually know that. It's also very hard to break. Right. Ruining my demonstration. Let's put it here and try that again. So if I do this, put a piece of paper in here, nothing is going to happen because it only has 2 wood planks in it. Now if I remove these until there are only 2 left, since there's 2 slots and 2 ingredients, it's going to be able to put 2 wood planks into the package. Now these 2 wood planks would craft a pressure plate. if I were to send this into a stamper, now I can right click with this package, which will throw it and destroy it, and I will get the ingredients back, and I can do the same thing with this, which was made by mistake. So that's a way to use the packager. You can also do this in steps. So when a package is created, you can add more things to it. So say for example I wanted to make a pickaxe. I could do this. That's not what I meant to do. But this can serve as an example anyway. So this added a stick in this slot here in this package. I can send this package through again, now with this slot highlighted, and you can see it added another stick. Then if I wanted to, I should have some, let's take 3 cobblestone, and I'm sure you can figure out where I'm going with this. And we'll do this, and then send the package through the packager again. You can see it added 3 cobblestone to these slots here, with the sticks still in these 2 slots here. So this package sent through 3 times, although you might only want to do this 2 times, because I messed up the first time. Now sending this package into the stamper here, which I can just as well do, will make a stone pickaxe. So very soon we'll have the laser activating, and the components of course are inside the package ready to be assembled. So now I have a stone pickaxe. And then of course we have the way where you can put specific ingredients in the slots like this, and make the recipe that way. But then you have to have a way to regulate what or how much of the ingredients go into the packager. Say for example you wanted to make stone pickaxes, and you have this this buffer here fill up with sticks, so no cobblestone can go in here, can go in the packager. Then you won't be able to make the recipe because there are ingredients missing. But the way I've intended to do this, however, is I am planning to use a computer. So if we do this, dang it, let's do open computers. There is a block in here, not that one, this, called the transposer. This allows computers to move items around. Now the transposer, which is made like this, needs a tank controller upgrade and an inventory controller upgrade, and this is a robot upgrade, or drone upgrade really. And this requires some stuff like a printed circuit board and other things. But the transposer can move items from one side to another. So if there's an inventory, say there's a chest on top of it, and a chest on this side, it can take items from this top chest and move them to the other chest, or vice versa. It can also move fluids between tanks with the tank controller. It can't move items to other blocks that are not touching the transposer, however. It can't move, turn items into electrical signals and move them through cables. The target and the source have to be touching this transposer for this to work. So the way I intend to use this is I'm going to have packagers, 3 packagers, or maybe 4, surrounding a transposer. So I'm going to have them like this. Then I'm going to have a transposer in the middle here. Then potentially then I can have a packager here and one underneath as well. Then I'm going to have a crate or something on top of the transposer. And the transposer will be able to pull the packages out of these slots here. They can't, unfortunately, for some reason, interact with anything else, as far as I can tell, which may or may not be a bug. But they can pull packages out, which is all I need. And packages do not stack. So when a package has been created and put in the slot here, the packager won't do anything until it is removed. So I can put a bunch of ingredients in here, and the packager will craft or create one package of it, and then wait. Then the idea is that I can, with a computer, specify what I want to make. So I can define, for example, say I wanted a stone pickaxe. I would tell the computer I wanted a stone pickaxe, and in advance I would have defined that a pickaxe, I would have created this recipe in one of the stampers. So there would be a pickaxe package waiting, and the computer would know which of these packagers that is in. So it would get that package, put it in this inventory that would be here, and then I'd have a pipe or something take the package out from this inventory and put it into the stamper, and I would have my pickaxe. And then I could have another transposer on top of this crate or whatever here, and another for packagers on top of around that. Now the reason I can only have 4 is that I need one side for the output inventory for the packages, and I need another side open for the network cable, which will connect to my computer network, or to my the computer that is going to control the system. So that's pretty much the crafting system I planned, and I may try to, I'm not sure how feasible it's going to be, but I would like to have it so I can, so for example, the pickaxe consists of cobblestone and sticks. Now say no sticks are available, I could have the program, so the command for, or function for, extracting items or moving items with the transposer has an output. So it will output true if it managed to move something, and false if it failed. So I can have the program check if it actually successfully was able to extract anything from the slot. And if it failed, that would mean that there is no package waiting here to be extracted. Which probably means that either it would mean one of three things. Either the packager has run out of paper, which it always needs to create packages. You need to input paper or a package. Or the packager has run out of cobblestone, or the packager has run out of sticks. Now, in the case of sticks, I can craft those, and I may have run out of sticks in my supply. So what I could do is have the program assume that the system has run out of sticks, and I could have another packager that is set up to craft sticks. So it would then try to extract a stick package from that packager, which would be sent to the stamper. Then the sticks would be supplied to all the packagers that need sticks, which means this would eventually be resupplied. Then the program would wait a while for the for the sticks to be stamped. Then would try to extract the pickaxe package again, and if it failed again, it might try to create more sticks in case this packager didn't get any because other ones took priority. Then it would of course have a max number of tries before it gave up and said that it's unable to provide the item. But that would be the basic idea. So it would be a system similar to how Applied Energistics does its crafting, where if an ingredient is unavailable and it knows how to craft that ingredient, it will do that first, and then it would assemble all the pieces down into the final requested product. And I could also have so you could request a number of products, and then so this is going to require me to, of course, make the computer first, and then I intend to program this to craft computer components first, so I can expand it more easily, and then I can have it craft other things as well. So what I'm going to need to do this is going to be, of course, a set of transposers. You get 4 of them per recipe, which is very nice. So I'm going to be able to have 16 packagers to start with in the first craft. I'm going to need a computer case, and I think a Tier 1 computer will do for this, at least to start with. So that's what I'm going for. A Tier 2 computer case costs 2 extra microchips, plus a Tier 1 computer case. So I can upgrade it later if I feel the need to do that. It requires a printed circuit board, which requires some stuff, requires some grog, and I have hard recipes turned on, of course, which change a bunch of recipes to be a little harder, of course. This, for example, doesn't do anything in the if you don't have hard recipes turned on, I believe. I need a microchip, which requires transistors, which I've already made on here, and I can make more easily by providing resources to this packager here. So I'm going to set the packager up as I make the computer, because then I can use the packagers to easily make the things I need while I'm working, and then automate them later, which would be nice, I think. I'm also going to need a screen, and I'm also going to use a tier 1, of course. Then I'm going to need a keyboard, which is there. Consists of some button groups and stuff, which are just buttons. That's simple enough. I'm going to need a power thingy, a power converter, I think. Yep. And I'm going to connect it to my Industrialcraft network, of course. Computers use a pretty small amount of power. So that's going to be fine, I believe. I'm going to need a processor. I'm going to use a tier 1, of course, which consists of more things, which require more transistors and stuff. I'm going to need a graphics card to output things to the screen so I can see what I'm doing. Would be useful. And this costs more things. I'm also going to need some memory, and I think one tier 1 memory is going to do to start with, at least. I'm going to need a hard drive, which is made out of more things, and an entire piston, apparently. Then I'm going to want I think there was something more. Data card. Nope. I believe there was something more I wanted for the computer. Oh yes, the operating system, which is this disk here. So I'm going to need a floppy disk, which is made like this, of course. And then I'm going to want to turn that into the OpenOS disk by crafting it with a manual. And this disk contains the operating system, which I need for the computer to be able to do anything. Now I've been talking for a while, and we have reached the end of this episode. So I'm going to have to end it here. Now I'm probably going to craft the parts off camera, because it's going to be a little bit tedious. Otherwise, oh dear. Right. I forgot to come down and check on this, didn't I? Dang. Oh well. That's what I get for getting distracted by things I didn't plan. I lost the carpenter's blocks as well, but they're just wood. But yeah, that'll do it for today. So I will see you in the next episode.